Welcome everyone to the Underground Sound. I am DJ X Tech. With me, as always, is Carlos Fandango, and once again, the gentleman of all gentlemen's, Mr. Smart Monkey himself. Together, we are trying to put the us back into music.
So please do like, subscribe, and share, and we'll find the music that you love to hear.
And don't forget to press that little bell that I'm sure Tom will put up somewhere on the screen here, where they do the thing where it clicks, 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 and dings. But basically, if you click that little bell, you'll get all the notifications of whenever Tom uploads a new Underground Sound video.
Absolutely, you will. And please, folks, visit the video description below. Find the links to all these artists that we're going to review today, and go show them some love. And also visit the previous shows, please. And if you like any of the songs from there, then obviously do the same thing. Just go show some love to these indie musicians, because the independent musicians are really putting a lot of work out there and are really... I don't know if gaslighter would be the would be the proper word to use, because that's a relatively new word for me at the moment here. But the record companies are basically taking over all of social media, and it's making it very difficult to for underground and independent musicians to kind of like go ahead and do their thing there. And a big special shout out and thank you yet again to our show sponsor, Nathan Bashir of Monsters Are Real. And if you hop into the video description below, please find monstersarerealmusic.com. Go and check out Nathan's body of work there, and express some love, say thank you, do whatever you can. Once again, helping the indie musicians out is what we're all about on the show here. So thank you, brother Nathan, for sponsoring the show yet again. And before we get to the show, not today, but 2 days ago in music history, March 1st, it was... Oh, wait a second, Carl. What button do you have there?
Well, there we are. I don't know if you can see that if it's coming up, but I have a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon.
That's right. Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon celebrated its 50th anniversary. So I'm going to ask you, Carl, how do you feel being as old as that album?
Well, yeah,
You're
that's
actually
right.
older than that album.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I was 72, and that was released the following year. So I was coming up for my first birthday, and that was released. So naturally, at almost a year old, I went out and bought the album, and no, basically, I discovered the album many years later, and it was just a revelation. It was just a sonic wonder. It's a sonic wonder of the world. It's so good. They put so much effort into that, and if you ever get a chance to watch any of the audience, if you watch the classic albums or any documentaries on Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, it's just a fabulous watch. The amount of effort that went into it comes across in the music, because it's lasted and stood the test of time. And it covers, of course, all the big sort of topics of human nature. So that's why I think it's appealed to so many generations.
It does, and if I'm not mistaken, Money is the opening track on that album, is it?
No. No, it's it's Breathe, and basically it just segues on. So that you've got the well, actually, it's technically not Breathe. It's a segue track, but it Breathe into On the Run and so on and so forth. But it's basically a segue sort of album. But Money does kickstart the second side, I believe.
Okay, well, I'm allowed to make mistakes here. I'm only human. Once again, Pink Floyd's body of work is something that I do admire. Going from The Wall forward, the Wall also a fantastic album. But just hey, congratulations to Pink Floyd again. March 1st, and 50 years in the making here. So hopefully one day we'll be able to say that about the Underground Sound. Maybe not 50 years, but
we might not be here to say that.
Maybe 20 years down the line. The meme that we had earlier in our group chat that showed us the Underground Sound Crew circa 2055. I thought was pretty funny. So I'll share that meme with you right here. Just make sure I write that down in the notes. So episode 28 needs add meme. There we go. Those will be my editing notes. Thank you, Rob, by the way, for telling me about Google Keep. So moving on with the show here. So Carl, tell me what we have going on for our first song of the day today. I know that I definitely recall this name because we talked about the song last week, but this is Punxta P. What do we got?
Right, so Punxta P. Now this is interesting because normally if we have a returning artist, it's not the following week on the show. But this happened to be the case that Punxta P uploaded 2 very good songs in quick succession. So I thought that had to be shared really. And the album apparently is called Further From the Egg, is dropping in May. And it's a debut album by Punxta P. But yeah, there's not a lot of comments on. Well, there's a few comments on this one, and a few people have saved it on Slaps. But it's a different kind of vibe to the other song. But I'm hoping, as a show starter, it will live up to your expectations.
Well, I hope so, because the last song was so good. We spent a considerable amount of time talking about it, and especially the lyrics that were involved. So if the lyrics plan out, then this will be a great song to listen to. So 94 plays, about to be the 95th here. 129 fires, about to be more fires, I'm pretty sure. 4 saves, and I am following Punxta P because I just absolutely love the last song that we reviewed there. So this one is called Patterns. Let's check it out.
Down inside of a hole, trying to find out what's eating my soul. Oh no, I'm melting through into Big Bang. Patterns around me every day. Have them all over the place. Oh yeah, they're all up in my face. I'm melting through into Big Bang. It's all around me every day. They're all over the place. All over the place. Die, but I'm well, just to let you know. One day I'll die, but I'm good, so don't worry. Someday I'll be no more, but I'm humble to explore. My legs are a vessel, my body is my mind. Hit the gong, say so long, make me gone forever this time.
All right, that was Punxta P, I should say, with Patterns is the name of the song. So the album is going to be Further from the Egg, dropping in May. I have a feeling that that's going to be a good album, Mr. Smart Monkey. What say you?
Yeah. Punxta P. I mean, I'm a fan already. I've heard 2 of his tracks. There's a theme that goes on in his music and his style, and more importantly, in his lyrics. There is a kind of surreal, thought-provoking poetry underneath his songs, and they're just beautiful to listen to, let alone then when he layers up his instruments, those quirky instruments over the top of it. It's difficult to compare him because he's got a very unique style. There are comparisons only because certain artists have done songs in that style. So Kate, Flaming Lips, Butthole Surfers, we've mentioned these before, clearly because we've talked about Punxta P before. And he has these sort of quirky elements in his song, but he has a style of his own, and it's blossoming, and you just can't help but fall in love with it. So I'm really looking forward to the album and what else he's bringing out, because he's got me hooked.
Once again, I think it's going to be a hell of an album, Mr. Fandango.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the moment Punxta P became Funksta P. I mean, this is just fantastic. You've got the sort of 70s wah-wah choppy clavinet going on there, the talk box, the sort of Peter Frampton show me the way type of talk box guitar sound. Whether I think it was just an effect, but it's nice to think if you can actually get that effect vocally, then that's great. But yeah, that's the effect it was, and it's got a really cool vibe about it. But yeah, as Rob says, clever wordplay. You've got can't look at myself without feeling vain. Can't look at my veins because they look like worms. And it's just like, yeah, not many people write lyrics like that. Not many people can write lyrics like that. But they're the sort of, as you say, thought-provoking lyrics. But lyrics that's like the other song we heard last week. It was the sound of the lyric sounds so good that it stays with you, like a Paul Simon lyric. It stays with you once you heard it. You can never forget them. So I like also the little details. So you've got things like when he's ending the line with my face, and you've got a face very subtly in there, and he said about the big bang, and then they go bang bang bang. So you just got lots of nice details. Ebb and flow factor, I would say, although it's got a good steady groove, it's ebb and flow of 8 I've given it, because you've got the sort of intro, then it drops into the verse, big chorus, drops again, big chorus again, drops, and then ends on a drop as well. And it's just all the time going up and down, roller coastering around. It's just a great little number, and I love it.
Great track for sure. So last week we did more of a comparison of, like, let's say Cake and what I had said, possibly even the Flowbots, where this week I'm kind of like picking up a bigger vibe of, like, let's say Mr. Bungle, or as Rob has said, Butthole Surfers again, maybe even a little bit of Sublime, especially with the felt like a really good song. But I gotta say my biggest thing with Punxta is I love the lyrics, I love the words, I love the poetry that's really put into it. So keeping up with the comment, I'm pretty sure that I made the same comment last week, is that the music kind of takes second place to the words, because the music just makes the words just that much more enjoyable. So the lyrics are really the killer part of the entire song. And I do think, I really can't wait for that album to drop and listen to the entire thing, because I think that we are definitely going to be hearing way more of Punx. I think that Punx has a future in the mainstream. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because you never know these days, because once again, these record companies have the stranglehold over all the radio stations and social media sites and everything. And for all we know, he may not be able to post any of his music anywhere in the upcoming future. But I definitely hope that's not the case, because I do want to hear more of this. And I'm just going to say once again, fantastic job, and just really looking forward to hearing more. And speaking of hearing more, last time we heard this artist, she was sick of it. Maya Clars is scared of nothing now. So
Yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it? But this one was uploaded 12 days ago on Slaps and has already had 40 saves, 533 plays, and 692 fires. Because Maya is on Slaps a lot and probably on social media a lot, and she's working it and creating a massive following. So people naturally then listen to her music straight away, save it, and this is the way you've got to do it, really. You know, just to she's always on there commenting on people's songs and giving them encouragement and positivity. So this is the second song from her For Your Dreams EP. And I thought you might find this interesting. Often our second track is a bit of a calmer, sort of a ballad track, and this is what it is. And it took me a couple of listens to sort of get used to it. I think actually it's a real grower. The more you hear it, the more you're going to like this one.
Okay, well, this is my first time listening to this song, obviously, but I gotta say, 533 plays, 40 saves, 692 fires, and on top of that, 223 comments left on the song, which is just absolutely fantastic. So very happy for Maya with that one. Posted 12 days ago. Scared of Nothing, also available on Spotify, Apple Music, that YouTube, and Amazon Music. And obviously, if you need to find this immediately, head down to the video description below. Find a link to Maya Clars. Click on that link, and you will find her right away. But for right now, let's listen to "Scared of Nothing" by Maya Clars. Let's check it out.
Open your eyes and see there's no horizon, no sheets. Don't be so hard on living, searching for the purpose out here. Can you believe after 100 years we all will disappear? So why to fear every little thing that's happening to me? I wanna be scared of nothing, like going alone to your home. Please promise me I can outlive all that happened to me. Long ago is just another saying. Face the fear you are portraying. Keep the breath, continue praying. Fake it till I make it. But I just wanna be scared of nothing. Hope that day will come. I don't wanna talk about the dinner tonight. I have a lot of thoughts, but you are on my mind. I look so into conversations, but I'm zoned out. The only thing I know that you will never find out. Riding in the jungle, manifesting my words. Laying on the floor into the shadow work. Living on same life like always stepping back. I'm doing something wrong, and I don't know that. I wanna be scared of nothing, like going alone to your home. Please promise me I can outlive all that happened to me. Long ago is just another saying. Face the fear you are portraying. Keep the breath, continue praying. Fake it till I make it. But I just wanna be scared of nothing. I wanna be scared of nothing, like going alone to your home.
My Clars with Scared of Nothing. So since Carlos Fandango already has heard the song multiple times, as he's mentioned, Smart Monkey, let's hear your comments.
Yeah, so Maya's fresh to my ears. I mean, I hadn't joined the Underground Sound back in the days when you reviewed her before, so she was relatively new to me. And her vocals are just beautifully soothing. That's the only way that I could put it. And you know, I inevitably went to go and check out some of her other sort of songs and her following. And yeah, she is building up a good following, and deservedly so, because you know they are hooked into those vocals and that style she brings. This one's a bit more of a stripped back kind of feel to this song, but I think it's really good. So some of her other songs are a little bit more they're not quite stripped back as this, but this one gives that ability for her vocals to shine on top of what is effectively an acoustic guitar. It's really hard to pin her down vocally, but and this is going to sound really odd, but I quite liked it when I come up with this. But she sounded almost like Enya if Enya did pop. She has this very soothing, very dreamy vocal on this song, and yet it's an upbeat element to it as well at the same time. So yeah, it's just a nice, dreamy, soothing track, yet still manage to keep a little bit of upbeat poppiness to it. Yeah, very, very good. Really enjoyed it.
It's a bit of a departure from Sick of It. Carlos Fandango, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Maya is showing her skills in different types of song compositions. Now, with this one, as I say, it took me a little while because I was probably expecting something different, but there are a lot of girl and ukulele tracks, girl and guitar tracks. Now, of the girl and guitar type of singers, there's a certain sort of the high what's the word? Oh, I forgot what the word's called. High register. But she's got something different about her voice, whereas a lot of them, those kind of type of singers singing those type of songs sound the same. She does have ability to sound slightly different, and I've written down soft, sweet, simple, subtle, and I think I'll add soothing to that from Rob, because I think that was exactly the right word. It's a very soothing song. The harmonies are very delicate. The song itself develops very gently. I mean, you know, it's built around the guitar, the acoustic guitar, and her voice. But the subtle elements that just are sort of just gently brought in, like the little hand taps on the guitar and the synthesizer sort of sounds, and they're just brought in just temporarily. Then it's discarded as the song develops. But it's extremely understated, and this is a lesson for a lot of people, including myself. Not to go overblown all the time, and when you strip things back, like I did on my song "Letting You Go," piano, vocal, cello, scary thing to do, to strip back. But my goodness me, the reaction of a stripped back song compared to all the overblown stuff is incredible. How much more, how hard that can hit people. So there's a lesson to be drawn from that. But again, you know, you got the focus on the lyrics and the voice. And you've also then got that lovely little guitar rundown thing, thing going on a couple of times there. Just nice little details all the way through, but commercially viable as well, because I would say this is the sort of song you could have on a film like Amelie, or, you know, one of those kind of sort of quirky little films, or a love rom-com or something, you know. So it's definitely got commercial viability, and hats off to Maya. I think she's made something I say she's done something very beautiful.
Maya, I say, yeah. Clever,
Maya, say.
Yeah, clever wordplay from Carlos Fandango, as per usual. So here's the thing. It's, again, my first time hearing it, and so I have kind of like mixed feelings about it, because, you know, we go from a Billie Eilish style song like "Sick of It" to, you know, a song where it's really, really difficult for me to kind of like place where it's at, where it's going. So to your point, Enya, I was kind of thinking maybe Lisa Loeb, or you know, something of that, or some artist of that nature. Here's the thing: the song is quite soothing. It's radio friendly, 3 minutes 17 seconds. Definitely commercially viable because, as Carl had mentioned, you know, it could be definitely in some kind of rom-com, and it would fit very nicely into it. I think Maya has a great voice, and it's only going to get better because I don't know how old she is, but she's definitely a you know, a younger woman, because I've seen some of her stuff on Instagram where she's just sitting there singing and playing her ukulele just by herself, and you know, she's got the fan base growing and everything like that. So I mean, Maya is going places. I don't know who's recording this. I don't know if it's Maya recording these songs or not, but I don't know if you guys picked up on it through this recording or the times when you listened to it. There were a lot of pops in the recording, in the microphone, tons of them, as a matter of fact. So microphone pops, and I'm not just sure if that was part of the music or not. But from a production standpoint, it sounded like a like there's a pop blocker missing, and so it kind of like it seemed to clip at times there.
Yeah, so I think Maya does do her own recordings at home and so forth. I think, from memory, and I think, you know, the thing is, when you're doing a soft song and you're singing softly, you get closer to the mic, but you need a pop shield for a start. But if you do get those pops, an important thing for anybody out there who's making the music, if you do, you know, listen it carefully to each of the vocal lines on their own, and you listen out for those pops on the P's and those harsh consonants. And the S's and the sh's and all that sort of thing. So all those, you can just, it's worth paying attention to the detail. If you just sort of put the fade ins on each of those phrases, when you cut the phrases all up, each individual one. And again, some songs require having a bit of breathing and breath work in them and keeping them in, because it carries and conveys some emotion. Most of the time, though, a lot of the vocals can be chopped up into their little inch line segments. And then if you just pay attention to the fade-ins and just soften those consonants and those harsher sounds and the pops, the best way, of course, to remedy it is to record it properly in the first place. So that's always the thing. If you pay attention, do a dummy recording, listen to the vocal. Is it popping? Yeah, okay. Well, then maybe sing away from the mic on the P words. And it's just that little attention to detail where you're singing those words makes a massive difference.
Yeah. I've always said one of the bigger pieces of advice that I've always given is, if you look at how my pop blocker is placed right over here, it's very directly in front of my face. So if you sing like this, you're definitely, you know, you're pushing all the air out that way. So you're not going to hear those harsh, as Carl said, those harsh consonants, the pa, because it was only a couple of times there, but it was enough to be noticeable, because, you know, it literally sounds like you're kind of like tapping on the microphone with your finger, right? And so Carl gave really great advice there with, you know, chop them down, like really maximize, you know, your vocal at the point where you know that you're kind of like, you know, you have that thing going on, and then just kind of like go in there, cut it down into a section, get the faders in, drop maybe even the volume a little bit just right at that moment. It is very labor intensive, but very well worth it also, because at the end of the day, the track will sound, you know, fantastic, as any track should. But once again, this is not to be taken away anything from this track, because this track was lovely. And once again, I do think that Maya has an extremely bright future ahead of her. Once again, I don't know where she's at with the what are you looking for again, man?
Oh, it's me. Sorry. I dropped something. Oh, it was just something for the next section for the purple bowl. I was just going to try something new, that's all. And I dropped it. It's a Bulldog Clip, that's all. That'd be interesting.
Did you call it a Bulldog Clip?
Yeah. What do you call them?
Gator clips.
Oh, right, like alligator type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, although we don't have them over here, so, well, unless they're in zoos. But actually, it doesn't really look like a bulldog, but maybe it grips like a bulldog. Yeah, it does grip like a bulldog. It hurts. So, do you dare me? Put it on my lip.
No, don't do it. We don't need you bleeding for the episode.
Because if you dare me, I'll do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just to wrap up here with Maya Clars. Once again, Maya, thank you.
I wanted to do it now on his notes so he does the rest of the show with the notes.
Can I finish and then we'll get to the jokes? Right out loud.
All the jokes. Good. I'm glad you reminded me.
Well, we have the Purple Bowl of Destiny coming up, so the jokes should be, very, very close by. But once again, to Maya Clars. Was this the song that was the direct submission?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
So there you go. So thank you, Maya Clars, for the direct submission of that song. And we do obviously wish you the best. We will be keeping tabs on your profile because I know that I'm following you. I'm pretty sure that Carl is following you as well. Rob, are you following Maya?
I believe I am. Yes.
Okay. After he made the mouse click to follow, yes.
Well, sometimes I've got to check. If I haven't signed in, it doesn't show it. So.
All right. Here we go. The Purple Bowl of Destiny, Part 1.
Purple Bowl, Part 1, yes. We'll just need our assistant to pass it over. Yep. Okay. Right. So basically, I shall stir it around. And with this magic Bulldog Clip or Gator Clip, I shall pick out. Actually, I don't know if it's going to work. We'll see. So it's exciting, though. I mean, you just can't deny that, surely. But so I'll mix it around. Actually, it's not going to work, is it? Because I've got to hold it somehow. Right. Okay. It should work. Yeah. Okay. Actually, so if I oh no, that's the solution, isn't it? Stir it with the Bulldog Clip. I should never have tried this. Why did I do this? Say when, because it's hard to hold it open.
Just go, man.
Oh, I didn't get one. Oh, I had more success with the owl. Yeah, okay. With a magic finger instead. You say when.
Go.
You just can't beat fingers.
Oh,
As I've said before. Oh, we've had this recently. Wow. This could be anything, but it's probably going to be rap and hip hop, I should think.
Probably.
But it wasn't last time we did. Oh, was it unsigned artists we had? And it wasn't a hip hop rap one.
It was not. I want to say it may have been David Ianishi, I think.
Possibly, yeah. There was one since then, I think. But anyway, I do have.
I just get bored then and decided to just read a book while we were just.
Yeah. You carry on. No, it's the. So while Tom's looking that up, it's. Let's just see if you can do a knock with me here. So knock.
Who is there?
Who is there? It's normally who's there. Carmen.
Carmen, who?
Carmen, see for yourself.
Oh, Jesus.
Knock.
Who's there?
You.
You.
Did you call? One more. Knock.
Who's there?
Noah.
Noah who?
Know a good place to eat. God, that's terrible.
That's horrible, man.
The other two weren't terrible.
I'll squeeze one more in, shall I? Knock.
Who's there?
Which one should I go for?
Which one should I go for? Who?
Oh, that's bad. That's terrible. Oh, okay. Knock.
Who's there?
Ifa.
Ifa who?
I forgot my key. That's terrible. I don't even know anybody called Ifa.
Man, and you paid actual money for this book?
I paid. It was a charity shop, so I think it was probably 50p. I paid good money for that. 50p.
Yeah, I got them down.
I got ripped off.
We are definitely getting your money's worth. I'll tell you that much. Here we have a song that was posted just 4 minutes ago. It says, "Make a joyful noise." Noise spelled with 2 E's at the end. So it says, "We are brokenhearted." Sometimes we are brokenhearted people, labeled as blues and unsigned artists. Let's get some more information here. So Union Grove, North Carolina, United States. They have 347 followers, 7,174 plays, 241 tracks. Wow. So they've been on Slap since July 5th of 2020. And it says, God has given me gospel music ministry to spread the gospel and song. And so it seems like this is going to be a religious song here. But why is this not? Oh, it did. Never mind. I was like, why is this not? Don't mind me. I mean, my brain just stopped working after the last joke.
I can always give you another one if you want.
No, we're good. I just want to. I kind of wanted to try something, and it doesn't look like it's going to work. Where is this? Ha! There you go. I found the remedy for the next track recording. All right. So presenting screen now. Here we go. Make a joyful noise. Posted now, since I spent so much time talking and getting ready and everything. Posted 6 minutes ago. With only one play thus far, this will be the second play from the Underground Sound here. We are the Brokenhearted. Let's check it out.
God bless the brokenhearted, for they shall be comforted. God bless the lonely, for they shall find peace. God bless the forsaken, God bless the forsaken, for they shall be redeemed. God bless the downtrodden, for they shall be lifted up. But to the meek and humble is the key. Don't you agree? Oh, don't you agree? For God has a proud look and haughty spirit. From this you should flee. So try to be meek and humble. Just be like Jesus. You can't go wrong there. 'Cause a love like He is very rare. God bless me. God bless me. For they shall see. They shall see. They shall see. And find the love of God. God bless the meek, for they shall see. They shall seek and find the love of God. Oh, the precious love of God. But to the meek and humble is the key. Don't you agree? It's the key. Don't you agree? For God has a proud look and a haughty spirit. From this you should flee. So try to be meek and humble. Just be like Jesus. You can't go wrong there. 'Cause a love like His very rare. God bless you and me. Oh, God bless you and me. 'Cause there are times, and when we are broken hearted,
right, taking the comments away this time is Mr. Fandango.
Okay, so I'm not sure what to think of really. It's got a positive message, and there is definitely a market for the sort of Christian music. I would, on Slaps, you've got it as unsigned artist and blues. I would say it's more R&B, if anything, and maybe gospel, and certainly Christian music. It's got nice voice, I think. And you've got a few harmonies and things. It's a little bit pitchy in places, and I'd probably address that slightly. But I think the settling the vocals into the track more with a nice stereo reverb, just ping-ponging it, 90% going across 10% to the right, or something like that, just to sort of settle it in and make it move a bit more and settle into the whole song a bit more. Onto the track would be nice. Into the track would be nice. Nice close harmonies, although I felt like sometimes the vocals were I take it it's the singer rather than several singers, but multi-tracked. It felt like it was competing at times as well, a little bit untidy in that way, so that I think the effect was meant to be that it's sort of like they're all sort of vibing together, but to me it felt a little untidy, but it just needs to be a little bit more cohesive in the delivery. But maybe that was the idea, was that it's meant to be more of a sort of natural feel, natural flow to it. But yeah, not a bad choice. I mean, it wasn't unpleasant to listen to. It would, for me, wouldn't be one that I would playlist or listen to regularly, but there is definitely a market for it, and there are people that will like it.
Well, I mean, there's production issues for sure. I'll get to those in a second here. Mr. Monkey, what say you?
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so to me, it's a gospel song more than R&B, and it had a nice vibe to it. I didn't find it unpleasant. We sometimes dip into these not knowing quite what to expect, and sometimes we're pleasantly surprised. What I will say is that I felt like it was almost a bedroom recording, and I felt like it was someone who was making a very personal message, a message of praise, and wanted to get that message out there, whether it be so that the audience hears it, or whether it be so that their message goes out to their beliefs. It's quite admirable in that aspect, I think. So I found that quite endearing, if I was honest. I'm intrigued whether it is her vocals. I think it is. I think it's her layered vocals, or whether she was singing with a friend. But I think it's her layered vocals. So although lots and lots of work would be required for it, I do feel like it was a recording done with passion and with love for her beliefs, and I got a certain amount of respect for that. So yeah.
I agree with you. So I'm not about to start talking about my religious beliefs or anything like that, but most religions are definitely peace, love, happiness, love one another, and it definitely comes off in this song too, right? It's inherently good. There's nothing wrong with the lyrics or the message itself whatsoever. But if we start talking about the production issues, then there are very, very many of them. The first issue that I had is that sub bass was like way too loud, because that really kind of boom, it really came through. I think that her voice is better than the recording is actually suggesting. I think that if she sat down with a proper audio engineer and she actually got to, because for a bedroom production, it kind of like sounds like, like maybe holding, like we used to have those
ears.
Well, the earbuds. Do you remember the earbuds that had the microphone attached to them?
Yes,
So
I think so.
It was a cable coming from the earbuds. Then there would be a microphone here, especially for the iPhone, right? And then that would connect to your iPhone. It kind of sounded to me like she may have been singing on something like that. So it was a cool thing that either she had done or whoever she was working with that had done, that had tried to kind of like separate the vocals and kind of like, layer them. At least there was some kind of attempt for that, right? Because we've heard songs where there's been absolutely no attempt to do that whatsoever. But the vocals are definitely, they're not mixed well, and I really do, I really do think that she has a better voice than is coming off on this actual recording. Because if I were to assume, like, let's say that she sang in church, then I mean, she's raising the octave and the overall register of her voice and the volume, and and I'm pretty sure that it's coming off lovely. So putting her in a proper studio with a proper audio engineer, I think would be very beneficial. And I think that for as many plays and as many followers as there are with with that group there, I think that it could be something good. But once again, you need to go kind of like the professional route, work with a solid pro in the recording industry there to kind of like even everything out. That's just my personal 2 cents on it.
I think you could be honest something there. I reckon she is part of a gospel choir or sings in some kind of choir, and she's kind of brought the choir into her bedroom in the best way that she could, by doing these layered vocals and things, and representing almost a choir in her bedroom. So, and I think you're right. I think she's got quite a good voice, and has tried to do it as best she can in a very sort of constrained way. Whereas if she did go to a studio and got that recorded properly, it'd be interesting to see what the result was.
I think you're right. I think she's probably got a lot more in the tank as well in terms of power in her voice and capability. So, and you're probably right. Part of the gospel choir wouldn't surprise me. And the thing is, if you've got a sort of like a, let's just say my recording studio downstairs, for instance, in the outside sort of outbuilding as such, I've got to be considerate towards neighbours. When I'm doing it at a certain time of night, I've got to stop, or you have to sing quietly. And when you sing quietly, so it does affect your vocals. So I think, it might be a situation if she's recording at home, she might not be able to sing too loud, and for fear of upsetting somebody. But so little details like that could be a factor in the whole thing. It was a tender song, so I suspect it wasn't requiring power anyway, but all the same, in a studio, I think she could really let rip and
yes,
you're better for it.
Yes, absolutely. Even if she were to make her bedroom the studio, because you could tell that there was no acoustic paneling around or anything like that, right? You could you sense this. I mean, we've all been in the music business here for, or I should say, maybe the industry, the business, whatever. We've all been recording music for quite a while, and so acoustic paneling does a lot, and you could actually pick some up off Amazon, relatively inexpensively. So I think that the red and black ones that I actually have behind me here, excuse me, the red and black ones I have here, I think it was 120 of these. They're 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 inch. These things cost like $60, which is not an unreasonable price for acoustic paneling. I do have in front of me thicker 2-inch thick acoustic paneling because my voice is carrying that way, so I don't want it to reverb and bounce back at me. But yeah, I just really,
some on your bedroom ceiling.
Oh my God. Of course, we're talking about a religious song, and you had to take it somewhere.
Oh dear.
I was gonna say, as far as that song is concerned, I'm gonna say, keep doing what you're doing. You're not doing it bad. You've got the followers, you've got the plays, you've got what you need to do to start building a career. But just think about possibly putting some money into it, talking with a professional, buying some professional studio time, and getting a proper audio engineer. And I think that everything will work out just lovely. And especially if you are put into a room where, once again, you can really wail your voice, then I think absolutely it might end up being a track that's going to be very lovely. And I mean, we're not strangers to kind of like, let's say, quote unquote religious tracks. Gary Ford, who we've had on the show twice now, he's from his music, he's quite a religious chap. So there is a way to make it kind of like get out there and especially with Christian music. I mean, Christian music, like rock bands and everything like that, they make a very good living off what they do. Christian music has a very, very, very loyal following. So I'll just say that, just once again, work with a proper producer and let it take you from there, honestly. So I think you did very well for the for this first initial time that we've heard you. But so you're gonna have to help me with the pronunciation on song number 4 here. This is Squepsilon.
I think it is Squepsilon because I was calling it sqEpsilon first because it's got the small sq lowercase and then epsilon with a capital E, but all as a conjoined word. So I think you're right. Squepsilon makes sense. And it says, "Hi, I'm an electronic music artist and I'm sharing some of my tracks for the first time ever. So basically aiming to upload at least one original song every week." So that's pretty good and ambitious. This particular song, longer than we'd normally play possibly, but 5 minutes 30, but I thought it might be of interest to you. Could easily have gone on to our electronica special and possibly saved me from getting a caution on the trial that we had there. So yeah, it says "Lost in Space" is a track from my 4th album, Shimmer and Shade. My 4th album was a Christmas album. Its tempo is slightly slower than the previous albums and is also acoustically softer. Overall, the tracks contain more vocal synthesizer harmonizations and piano melodies. Available on all mainstream music platforms. So,
do we have any idea where this person is from?
Oh, I forgot to say that, didn't I? No, it doesn't say. That's why I didn't say it, I think. But no, we don't know.
Yeah.
Very spacey sort of artwork, though. So it could be from the outer reaches of the galaxy.
From space.
Coming to you live from space.
Well, Vitamin Dream said that they are from, another planet, right? So yeah, this may be from another planet as well. Let's check out. I'm gonna assume still that this is Squepsilon. Lost in Space is available on. This is, I believe, Deezer. Tidal. It's actually Tidal. Tidal and Amazon Music. So 52 plays, 3 saves, 45 fires. Let's make it the 53rd play here for the Underground Sound, and let's check it out. tossing this one over to our resident electronic mastermind, Smart Monkey.
Okay, interesting this track. Very interesting this track, because the very first time I heard it, and I have to be honest with you, I've given this a couple of listens, so this isn't my first time hearing this one. So it's a bit of a slow builder to begin with. And at first I was a little bit annoyed about that. I was like, you need to bring that intro in a bit. But then another part of me went, well, if this was for a soundtrack, maybe I'd be a bit more forgiving. So anyway, as I sit and I listen to this song the first time, it takes you on a bit of an unpredictable journey. And at first it's a little bit disconcerting on the ears, because it's doing some really random things at points where you're like, well, I wasn't expecting that. However, listen to it another time and you kind of want those bits to happen, because there's something really good about those bits. There's something really clever about them. And, that vocal that suddenly catches you by surprise. The first time you hear it, you're like, oh, what the hell is that? When you get it, you want it again. You want to hear it again, because it's actually quite clever. And so my first listening of it, I was a bit like dismissive of this track. But the second time I hear it, and now again I've heard it again, it grows on me every time. And there's just something kind of quirky, haunting, and very enjoyable about this track. And it could very easily be sitting on a soundtrack. Just has to be quite a particular kind of application of it. But it would be that application that made this stood out, because it's just got something really good about it. So I like it, but it takes a few listens.
Carlos Fandango.
Yeah, I had very similar reaction when I first heard it. A bit discombobulated. Thought exactly the same thing about the intro, that it was too long before the other things came in. But then when you look at the whole, once you've heard the song once or twice, then you realise the intro is probably necessary before those vocal effects and things come in. It's just a strange thing, a really strange thing. And I feel a bit confused about it in terms of, it feels like it's two separate songs that have been fused together. And at the end, you can hear that piano intro, dun, 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 that sort of rhythm going over this other rhythm that doesn't really go together, but it's low in the mix, so it sort of subtly creeps back in, and it kind of works in a way. It's odd, but the vocal effects are pretty good. I like, there's very 80s sort of sound to it, and I've written that it's like a Max Richter song that becomes then an Enya song, that becomes a Vangelis track, then becomes a John Carpenter soundtrack theme, and then it becomes Art of Noise, then it becomes a bit Jean-Michel Jarre. It's a real fusion and melding of different styles. I feel like it could be a little bit more cohesive, but then oddly enough, just as Rob said, it's that sort of strangeness, and the things that don't quite go together seem to be put together, and it sort of works. I mean, if we were talking about like recent songs like Punxta P or Mustafa, with all those different variation of sounds that sort of just odd sounds and ideas thrown in together, but they just work. Well, if you look at it as a synth version of that, but a slower one, then it kind of works, because it's a bit off the wall. Very spacey. But I like it. I think overall there's enough about it for me to want to hear it again. It's dreamy, drifty, and spacey, and I like it.
I think if it wasn't structured like that, it possibly wouldn't work. It's an odd thing. It's a very odd song. And the way that it's structured and the way it catches you off guard is almost the thing that draws you into it. And those vocals are almost, they are sampled. You can hear that they're sort of played on a keyboard in places, but it works. And then other times they let the vocal play out. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm like with my electronic music, and I like that quirkiness when some people apply it, and it works in this instance for me. But Tom, what do you think?
I'm thinking you guys are fucking with me.
How many times have you heard it though?
This is the first time. I never hear these songs before before the show. This is my first time always with any one of these songs. This is my first time hearing it. Even when I forwarded my Clars submission, I did not listen to it. I sent it to Carl. I'm like, if you feel it's show worthy, put it on the show. You know, Carl's a producer for all intents and purposes, right? This is what I want. Is I want my genuine reaction. So my first reaction here is automation is the fucking name of the game here. You know, the automation is horrible. It's non-existent because you're going to super heavy bass lines to super high pitched piano to super high pitched vocals, and like I'm sitting here and I'm looking at you guys, and you guys are like nodding to yourselves, and you're like both in agreement with what's going on. I'm thinking that I need to listen to this song a few more times before I actually honest review.
I definitely would, because I think, oddly enough, what's so weird about this song is that it crazily enough works because of that. It's an odd thing. And these things catch you by surprise. They jump out and you go, no, that should be blended and joined better. But I think if you did all of that, this track would kind of lose that quirkiness that it has. It definitely takes a couple of listens, 2 or 3 listens, before you sort of warm to it, I think.
Well, I think if you listen to something like Art of Noise, Moments in Love, and it's got that kind of vibe more than any of those other artists I mentioned, I think it's more Art of Noise than any of those. And I think if you've got that in mind, it probably works better. I think it works better on second, third listening. But even now, I'm still undecided because I'm thinking, well, maybe a little bit more cohesion. I've put down the words, a little more cohesion, and it would be up there with those artists. And I think for me, it needs to be a little bit more cohesive. But I take on board Rob's point that it actually, maybe that's the whole point, that this is the whole reason it's like this, is that it's meant to be like this. Maybe.
I'm really thinking you guys are fucking with me.
Oh, do you know what, Rob? That's a really good idea. We do this every week. Just pick a track that's really off the wall and strange, and we just sort of like really, rave.
If you see me sitting here with my arms crossed and kind of like looking at both their eyes to be like,
I'll be giggling at the same time.
Who's fucking lying here? Who's laughing with me? Who's laughing at me? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, no,
I have a few more listens.
Yeah, I'll have to, apparently, because you guys seem like very enthralled by it. See, this is what the media wants. They want to brainwash you completely. Like, what the hell's going on here? That's what it seems like. Like, you guys are like on the same page. Like, you're very brainwashed by the song, and I'm just like, I don't get it. You know?
No, mind you, UFO did fly over my house last night, and I got a visit from some little green men. So maybe
it conveniently landed in Canada afterwards, right? No, I don't know. Okay, I'll listen to it again. I'll keep my harsh Simon Cowell type critique to myself at the moment. That was my beef, was just the automation and the fact that, kind of like in the middle of it, everything just kind of like seemed to kind of like go to shit, because it was like the key changed and everything, it was just, everything was just kind of like scrambled eggs for a second.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Maybe once ago, as you're saying, Rob, maybe that's the point of it. But it just, the song at that point, like, seriously made no sense to me at all. You know what I mean? Is because everything was just like, like if you fell asleep and you hit your head on the fucking keyboard or something like that. You know what I mean? It just really sounded like that.
That wasn't that bad. But it did take 2 listens for me to get it.
All right. I will listen further, and then I will either recap or I'll write my comments in the video description below, which all of you should be visiting anyway, because that's where the links to all these artists are. So if you think I'm wrong about that song, please leave it in the comments below. And I'm desperately like trying to figure out what the both of you are fucking thinking right now.
Well, when you've listened to it a couple of times more, why don't you then edit in, just after these comments here, just edit in a short segment of how you actually feel about the song after a couple of listens.
Give it another listen in the break.
And I can't write it in the video description for what reason?
Like, no, but
now you're just
doing it straight after the song.
I will listen. I will listen to it. I promise you, I will listen to this song at least 5 times in the kitchen later when I'm cooking. So, and then I'll get back to you with my thoughts, I guess, further on that. So, moving on, because I'm still confused, because I still feel like you guys are fucking with me.
We're not.
I'm genuinely not. No, I was surprised that Rob. I was actually surprised that Rob liked it as much as he did. So I thought it was me thinking it was quite interesting and unusual.
What's really interesting is the first listen. I didn't. I really didn't.
Same.
I when that vocal popped out, I was like, "What the hell?" And I just thought it just didn't belong there. It was just weird. And then when it sort of all changed its whole like direction, I was like, no. But second time round and then third time round, it got even better. And I reckon it gets better each time you listen to it. It's odd. I can't explain it, but it worked.
All right. I mean,
you're going to be more surprised later.
I'm not going to keep arguing with the both of us. If you say so, you say so. I mean, I'll listen to it again. Once again, I'll put it on repeat, and I'll see what's happening, as I'm cooking dinner later on. But moving on with the show. So I see now we have Roger Richards, Used to Be.
From Beckley in WV. What are we thinking here?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Oh, of course it says it. I'm a country artist from the mountains of West Virginia. Wow. I should have read further, shouldn't I? My goal in life is to stand up and be a voice for people from less fortunate backgrounds. That's a noble intention. I want to be a person that others can relate to. This is both of us now speaking. My mission is to also take a stand for people struggling with depression and mental disorders, as well as stand up for my fellow veterans. Excellent. And Lord willing, I can use my life to change the lives of a few others. Exactly what we should be in music for is to do exactly that. So this song is called Used to Be, and it says as the song notes, I wrote this song in honor of my little brother who passed away in 2018. And to anyone who has ever lost anyone to suicide. So when you hear, I think when you know that context and then you hear the words and everything, I think this one will hit home. And I believe as is the common slot for track 5 now, it's a bit of a sort of country song, cowboy song, country. And but it's got that sort of sad message to it as well. But I cannot believe it's only had 24 plays, 1 save, which is me, and 7 fire only. I'm sure it's better than that and deserves to be heard, especially given the content of the lyrics.
Well, I mean, listen, Nathan has been trying to push this issue for a long time. We had White Christmas. You have social disorder. That all has to deal with depression, PTSD, things of that nature. Nathan's been trying so much to get the word out on things of that nature, and it just seems like either people don't care or they just don't want to listen to it. But Roger Richards, I'm going to say, check out Monsters Are Real, and I'll forward this song later on to Nathan since we're on this topic, because he feels very strongly about it as well. So for right now, we'll listen to Roger Richards, Used to Be, staggering. That is posted 17 days ago with 24 plays, 7 fires, 1 save, which Carlos had mentioned is himself. Let's do this. Let's check this out together.
It was a cold, rainy morning when I got that call. Mama gave the news, your brother is gone. I hit my knees and the tears began to fall as I slammed my fist against the wall. But before the angels took him away, there was one thing that I had to say. I would have helped you through the battle was a long ride home, but when I pulled in the drive, I just sat there and I looked towards the sky, and I asked God, where were you this time? And I heard a still calm voice in my ear say, I'm right here. And I said, Lord, before you go, when you get back, would you just let him know? I would have helped him through the battle, hand in hand we'd have won the fight. And now my right hand is gone, and I just hope he knows he was half the man I am. 'Cause without him, I'm half the man that I used to be. Maybe if I just picked that phone up, well, I wouldn't be here singing this song. Maybe if I just paid a little closer attention, maybe he would have been gone. Man, I'd have helped you through the battle, hand in hand we'd have won the fight. Now my right hand is gone, and I just hope you know you're half the man I am. 'Cause without you, I'm half the man that I used to be. That I used to be.
Well, I got to say that I don't know what it is, but I mean we've had some really good country music. The last few episodes that we've done, for crying out loud, no, it's been really good stuff. Carlos Fandango, please.
Yeah, I mean, I was just really, this time when I've listened to it 2 or 3 times already, and this time I've really listened to the lyrics, and obviously with the context of the song, really struggled to hold back the tears. It's just really hits you hard. But professional production, solid composition, strong country vocal. I mean, you know, you look at his picture and he just doesn't feel, it feels too young to have that maturity of his voice, but he's got such a good country voice, a good singing voice, full stop, you know, Garth Brooks sort of level of standard, you know, and but the lyrics, it's all with country music, is often all about the story and the personal story, and often it's sad stories and real life stories, which is why I always think of country music as you know, genuine soul music, as much as soul music is itself. You know, it's all about the hindsight, and could I have helped that person? Could I have picked up the phone? Could I have made a difference? My friend Ivan lost his brother many years ago, who had suicide, had no signs of committing suicide, was a bit of a loner and a quiet fella, lovely fella. And I always feel that, you know, well, if you just made an effort to make more friends, because I was friends with Ivan and not his brother, but we sort of knew of him, but you know, I'd have connected with the music because he loved jazz and all sorts of things, and yet I didn't really know him that well at the time. I just always think, could it have made a difference? So we've all got, those kind of stories, or know somebody who's been affected by that sort of thing. So, but lines like "my right hand is gone" and "you're half the man, but without you, I'm half." Sorry, "you're half the man that I am, but without you, I'm half the man that I used to be." And it just shows how we influence each other's lives and how we can be a positive influence. But just being sometimes the strongest people, or people that look strong and solid on the face of it, aren't. They're dying inside and have troubles. So it's always good to check in on people. And even if some people just put a brave face on things, but it's always important to just ask and check on people, make sure they're okay. And and they may say they are, but they're not. But just be a friend to someone, and always pick up that phone, or if you see somebody having slight problems, just talk to them. They need, people need help. Everyone needs help at the times.
Yes, sir. I'm going to share this screen real quick here, and I'll definitely put this up. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Hold on. Let me stop for a second. I'll definitely put it up. What the hell happened to this? How come I cannot share? Oh, because I need to share a window. Sorry. So this was Brother Nathan's social disorder track from the from episode 27, which is "Depression is Real. It doesn't always have signs or reasons. Check on your friends." Carl, like you said, especially the strong ones. We all have a lot on our shoulders. Quote by Monsters Are Real right there. And I'll post that up for about a minute or two as we go on our break. Like you, Carl, I had a friend in my teenage years. No signs whatsoever. Had a car, was a happy kid, and then we hung out with him one day. The next day, just no more. So, smart monkey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is an incredible song. And I mean, to me, this is what country music's all about. This is what defines country music. This is so much emotion in both the lyrics and the way that Roger delivers it. It's a beautiful song. His vocals are really good, and they add that element of emotion, and it's so beautifully sung. It's pitch perfect. You just listen to it, and he's sliding his voice up and down through the various notes, and it's just beautiful, and it does the song this beautiful justice that it needs. Incredibly emotional, incredibly powerful. It's not often that when I listen to song lyrics that I'm brought to tears, and I had to fight him back here again. But when I listened to it earlier on, I literally was shedding a tear. You can just feel, that kind of pain and that want to be able to help, but the event, and then how true is that so many times when it comes to suicide. Just listening to us here now, we've all been touched by it, and I also have been touched by it. I've been very close to family members, not from my side of the family, but from my wife's side of the family, and we experienced suicide, and it's an incredibly painful thing, and it happens to the people you least expect. And when we've heard of it, we're like, I never knew that was going to happen. They never gave me any indication that they were suffering like that. And you question yourself then about what you could have done, whether you could have stepped in, should you have seen signs. It's incredibly difficult. And we all go back and we retrace our tracks after the events happen and just wish that we could have done something differently. And I feel that pain, and it's a beautiful song.
Yeah, and yet it's so hard. Sometimes people hide it so well that you just never have. Most people, never have a clue that it would even happen, and are very shocked. My dad had a friend who just was at the pub with his sons, and the sons went back home for dinner. He said, "I'll be along in a minute." Then they found him hanging in the woods, and so you just never know. And it is difficult one, because you can't always know what's going through people's minds. But if you can be there, then be there, and do whatever you can. Just always make a little bit of an effort, and it might make the difference.
Ah, boy, I think we're in desperate need of a break. It's hard to give this type of song a critique, saying that this was fantastic. Your voice is great. I mean, I think that Roger knows, because it's all very apparent. This was all very much a pro production, and just the lyrics obviously are taking you someplace else. So, with that said, I'm not going to do the pin swipe. I'm going to instead leave up Nathan's quotes, and I will put in there the suicide prevention hotlines in the US and the UK. And we'll be back after this. Oh shit, that's right. No, almost forgot about that. But welcome back to the second half of the Underground Sound. We all had a good cry, and I think that we just need a group hug. I think so. Come on, bring it in, fellas.
All right, ready?
Bring it in. That's right. Yep. We need to hug it out sometimes. We need to hug it out sometimes.
Kissing as well. I just kissed.
Did you? Oh,
sorry.
I'll take that as a kiss on the cheek. That's fine. Roger.
Mine was on Rob's neck. Looks.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, he's got a hickey now.
Did it chafe a bit? It's stubbly.
Well, Roger. Roger Richards really threw us through a bit of a loop and a very deep discussion with the song there. So we will just say well done, Roger, and we're going to look forward to hearing more in the future. Maybe next time do something a little more upbeat. I don't know. Not to make light of it. We're not trying to make fun. We're just trying to break back into the mold of the underground sound here, and doing so, we actually have a message, fellas.
Ooh,
yes.
Okay.
We have a message from Billy Joel, and this one says, "Yes, sir." No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Billy Joel.
Yes.
Oh, whoa! I mean, that's whoa, Joel. How about you, Rob? Was you know Billy Joel?
I do know Billy. Well, not personally. I haven't actually had him around for lunch or anything, but I do know Billy Joel, and that's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Indeed it is. And it says, yes, sir. It reads, you guys are killing it with spotting all the new talent coming through, and I'm gonna get back to my red beer. Come on, you corn huskers.
Cornhuskers, red beer. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that's really. Oh, it's just great that we've had a message. Cornhuskers, red beer. Okay.
Is that a song of his?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is Billy Joel. Not sure what the L stands for. And he's a tractor mechanic from Lincoln, Nebraska. So.
Oh, Billy Joe L. Oh, Right. Okay. Sorry, we were on the wrong track.
Billy
Completely.
Joe.
I thought I was thinking just the way you are, and
Billy Joe from Nebraska.
Yes.
BJ. I think I know him.
I'm sure that Rob does. Okay. Welcome back again for the second half of the Underground Song. Believe me, we're gonna get better with the messages sooner or later. Sooner or later. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. So if you've stuck around with us through the darkness, hopefully we're breaking into the light here now. And so this next song is Degerwald.
Yeah, from probably Degerwald, I think, from Dresden in Deutschland, sunny Germany. So this is often classified as indie or alternative rock. The music of the four musicians from Dresden and Freital is characterized by dreaminess and melancholy. It goes on further, but this one, I did get it translated actually at one point, but I've forgotten. But it's Die Tiefstehende Sonne Blendet Mich. I will translate it for you in a second. If you carry on talking, I'll look up
The low sun blinds me.
Oh, it says it in there.
It's actually in the description of the song.
That's right. Yes,
Carl, you've been off your game about reading the descriptions. This is like literally the second thing that was in the description that you've missed today. So,
if I just carried on reading, but I was reading the title and not just I'd forgotten. Yeah, but it says a dreamy sounding ballad about missing someone already before they've even left.
Oh my God! Really? We just got out of this phase, man.
It was dreamy rather than sad. So
we literally just hugged this out and like, yeah, I love you guys, and now we're back. Now we're back into here. Okay.
Well, it says pop, but it's more electronica and synth. I would say. So I think you'll enjoy it for that, even though it's a dreamy sort of like a ballad. I think you'll like the electronica-ness of it.
All right. Let's do this. So Degerwald with a song that translates to The Low Sun Blinds Me. Let's check it out.
Wohin ich geh,
Since Carlos Fandango is being attacked by wasps, it seems. Smart Monkey, take it away.
Yeah, so I took the honor of quickly Googling the lyrics, which I'm quite glad I did. So as we were listening to that, I could put the words to the translation, and they're quite beautiful, actually, to be fair, and they do add another layer to that song. So it's a pretty track. It's got nice, lush sounding synths, almost an 80s melancholy goth vibe to me. And I know I've harked back to Cocteau Twins before, but it has that little element of it. Her voice reminds me of now this is going to sound a little bit odd, but it does remind me a bit of Chrissie Hynde. And although in the Pretenders she sang a lot of upbeat songs, on those sort of more sort of melancholy songs, her voice sounds similar. And of course, I mean, there's Nena, and she did 99 Red Balloons, but she also did other songs, obviously, because she was a German artist as well, and she did other songs that sounded quite similar to this. I'm not sure if it's a home production, but the production quality sounded just like it needed a bit of polish. And towards the end, those hi-hats were a little bit grating to me right at the end, quite distorted when I heard it earlier on. But I don't want that to detract from the overall feel of this track. It's a really nice track, and even more so now that I've translated the lyrics. So yeah, it's good.
Yep, and we thank Smart Monkey for actually sending us the lyrics here in the group chat. So Carlos Fandango. Oh, see, you didn't see it, did you?
No. I did.
You're swiping at the wasps.
Well, it's because I actually could have reached with my hand, but I thought, hold on a minute, I've got a back scratcher in here, so I thought I'd just extend it. Couldn't quite reach it, and I was fidgeting around with the back scratcher, but it wasn't as effective as my hand just scratching.
What an ingenious device this is.
Maybe you need a little bit of hand cream on it.
Yeah, just something all itchy and stuff. It's just yeah. Yeah. So the comments here. So I like dreamy synth music, and this has exactly that sort of quality to it. This sort of arpeggiated sort of thing going on. That's one thing I would probably, because I like it, but because it goes all the way through the song, I do think that could be automated down low into the mix when the song starts going, or changed for something else, or developed or something. So I do think, yeah, because it's very prominent, so I don't think it should be prominent all the way through. When she's not singing, it should be brought down to support the vocals. When she is singing, it should be brought down. When she's not singing, then brought up. So I think it has just a bit of, as you say, polish. Rob is correct, but I like the dreaminess of it. The sound of the phasing really works well, and it was used sparingly, so that was good. Nice vocals. She's got nice timbre to her voice. There's a bit of, it sounds bad to say, husk and croak, but there is on a few of the notes, there's sort of like a slight sort of croakiness in the voice, which really sounds good. And her voice, it just lends another quality to the song. I would say I love the oohs at the end as well. That's a lovely way of finishing it. And I think actually I really like that one. It's quite an uplifting sort of song. It wasn't a sad song. It was kind of a poignant song, but it was, yeah, I think it was uplifting in its feel. So I liked it a lot.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with a bit of huskiness or croak in anyone's voice, because if you think of Billie Eilish and Adele, that they're both right there, kind of like on the same plane as far as voice is concerned, right? So the song overall, definitely, I think personally has a huge market. We talked about this before. Like, let's say they remade some 80s movies, right? Because they remake TV shows and everything like that, like constantly, all the time, right? But if they remade like an 80s movie, like The Breakfast Club or something like that, right, that this song would fit perfectly in there. Nice synths, nice, really kind of like dreamy melody, and the voice, is just kind of like a nice add-on right there, just to make it even that much more whole, let's say. So I liked it, and it seemed like it was pro kind of quality. So I really have no beef with the let's say the automation that Carl was kind of mentioning, where maybe a little bit. I don't think it was really a lot to kind of like as much, I should say, to be like super concerned about or anything like that, because I think overall that the song from start to finish, really works nicely. And once again, thanks, Rob, for sending the lyrics here. And so don't ask where I'm going. Believe me, it hurts me just as much. The days are short and the nights are cold. Be expectant, because we'll see each other soon. Hold on, see you again. I wish I never had to go. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. The days are short and the nights are cold. You know exactly. We'll see each other soon. So having the translation of the lyrics, and I will post those in the comments below the song as well. So check those out and kind of sing along yourself in German, unless you know German, and then you could just sing along with the song naturally. So but yeah, I think good song overall.
Yeah,
nicely done. And so beautiful. So now we move on. The almost sad part of the show, and we have Shahiem.
Yeah, Shahiem. I think so. Yeah. What was that? B-E-A. That wasn't that Jim Carrey?
B-E-A.
Beautiful. Yeah, B-E-A. Beautiful.
It was Jim Carrey. I forget what movie. I want to say Ace Ventura.
Could be.
I want to say Ace Ventura, but it could have been B-E-A. Beautiful.
Oh, wasn't it on the thingy? The one where he's part of a sort of project, a TV program thing.
Oh yeah.
No, it wasn't on Living Color. I know what you're talking about.
Not Living Color.
He's on the TV show.
This Truman Show.
Truman Show. That's it. Yeah.
No,
It wasn't that either.
no. Truman Show's catchline was good morning, and just in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So B-E-A. Beautiful.
Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty. I nearly said that, and I thought, because it's one I haven't watched. Yeah.
That's a cracking film, actually. Yeah.
B-E-A.
That was funny.
That
one was really funny.
So,
beautiful. Yes, absolutely.
Shahiem or Shahiem is from Cape. So from Cape Town, South Africa. I don't know. We've been to South Africa for Lion J before, but not many other times beyond that. So our second South African artist. The description just says she gives me butterflies, and that's it. No influences listed apart from no 5. So you've got Shawn Mendes, Bruno Mars, Charlie Puth, Harry Styles, and Doja Cat. Now, and I think this one's called Low, and I think this was a sort of contemporary sounding pop song. So, and we haven't really had. I don't think we've really had one of those tonight. Whereas we've got a sort of out and out pop song. So this is the one for tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope this was good, Carl. Otherwise, you're going to have to go on trial again, because now this one lists Instagram as a genre for whatever reasons. So it's pop and Instagram. So what's Instagram as a genre? We shall find out right now with Shahiem with Low, also available on Spotify, YouTube, and I'm assuming Instagram. Let's check it out.
Together now, everything's special now.
All righty then. I'm just going to be chock full of Jim Carrey, idiosyncrasies, whatever. Shahiem with with Low, Carlos Fandango.
Yeah, very sort of contemporary vibe, good vocals, and got a bit of a rap hip hop tiny section in there, rap hip hop sort of thing going on, street feel to it. Good vocals, radio friendly. There's bopping along and dancing. It just makes you sort of bop along a little bit. I can imagine, yeah, you're working in a factory or something. This comes on the radio, and you sort of just probably work a little bit faster to the groove and stuff. So, you know, a bit One Direction, bit The Weeknd. Dare I say Michael Jackson a little bit in there as well. I actually quite like that one. I mean, it's not, you know, pop music's pop music these days, but it's not, you know, the sort of pop music that it was, say, in the 80s. But yeah, it's definitely got that sort of commerciality vibe to it, and it's done a good little job there. Nothing I didn't really particularly like about it. You know, nothing I disliked at all. It's good.
Commerciality. Okay. Carl's taking us to school on how to speak proper English again. Smart monkey.
Right. So this one, to me, was just like, bam. When I heard this song, I was like, wow. This just, it was so radio friendly. I could have been listening to it on the radio. It screams of Bruno Mars to me, which is in his inspirations, and it is it could easily be a Bruno Mars track. At the same time, it's got that almost Outcast, hey yeah, kind of vibe to it, upbeat, happy, really uplifting vibe. So it sounds beautiful. It's just got production qualities for me were just bang on. It is ready for radio from what I can hear of it anyway. Just feels bang on trend. Could happily sit there with the likes of Harry Styles at the moment with his tracks that he's releasing.
Yeah.
It was a impressive track for me. It's right from the moment I heard it. Just popped out.
Oh, really? Sometimes I feel ashamed to be doing a show with both of you. Oh man, you guys are really reaching here, aren't you? No, listen. I get the Michael Jackson reference, but when we're talking about like back in the day, you know, we're talking about a young Michael Jackson, right? So, yeah, definitely ABC 1, 2, 3 and everything like that. But to me, this screams like really, really, really just screams Justin Bieber and like Kid Leroy. You know, I mean, this definitely has that vibe to it, especially voice, the kind of the tempo, the you know, the production quality of it and everything like that. Like I think that Shahiem had actually probably sat down and worked with a kind of like proper producer to get this thing off the ground, because it does sound really poppy, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of like, you know, we talk a lot about like heavy metal just like really isn't Rob's thing, right? Hip hop just really isn't Carl's thing. You know, like this kind of pop, where we're talking about this Bieber-esque and you know, and like Kid Leroy kind of like feel to it. This just really isn't my thing, right? You know, so it didn't really like kind of like, it didn't really like push any kind of like emotion forward. You know, like I like the song, I don't like the song. You know what I mean? I'm very indifferent towards it, other than the fact that I can say that it is a proper pro production. Definitely has a place on the radio. Definitely probably has a place in you know, in a show or a movie somewhere. So it is top notch production quality. It really is. I mean, listening to it through the monitors is, you know, it gives us this nice bass reflex. The voice is very prominent, and you know, the whole song just works. So Low by Shahiem, available on Spotify and YouTube. It looks like, but it also does say check out Low on all streaming platforms now. So I'm assuming that it is everywhere. But if you need help finding it any quicker, hop into the video description below. Find the links to these artists and the artists throughout the show. Obviously, give them a click, and if you like them, add them onto your Spotify playlist. Do whatever you need to do. Subscribe to them on YouTube. Whatever you can do to help these independent musicians, then please do it, because again, this is the type of music that we should be listening to, and not the commercialized stuff that's on the radio. And so we go to the second installment of the Purple Bowl of Destiny. Now, I'm just curious. Did you like go get a hair clip this time, or
No, I thought.
are you just trying to get
we'll
it?
either use fingers or the owl can do it for us. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
So Al did it last week, as you know,
Yeah.
and Al can definitely do it again. So I'm sure. Can you?
Al's got to live up to
Well-
something now.
Well, we'll see. Yeah.
He was
Okay.
Owl or
shaking
clip.
his head yes, unless he was like, "Get your hand out my ass" or something like that.
It's if I say something and I doubt the owl, then it does give me a bit of a look. So basically, I've got one bowl,
Look,
one owl,
bit of a look.
a bit of a look.
A
Yeah.
bit of
Well, that kind of, you know. Right, you're gonna go for it. Yeah. Okay. Right. Go on, get in there. Go on and get in there, my son. No, try again. Go on, you can do it.
Let's say you've been sick.
Hold his hair back, man.
Oh God, come on. Oh, you got two there. Come on. One. Oh, shake it out of you. Right, okay. So we have one. Would you like to show them the cat? Oh, you got two there. I mean, come on now. Pick one of those two. Would you want this one or that one?
Rob,
Well-
left or right?
Well, you're left on my left.
Well, no, that's you see, you weren't supposed to say that.
Oh, I see.
That one.
Where are you pointing? Over here.
Yeah.
Okay. You hold on to that. Now you show the lovely people the category.
R&B.
R&B.
R&B soul.
soul.
There we go. So you'd be happy that you did a good job there, Al. And you've also got to contribute to the proceedings as well with the whether you're going to be the owl of what is it? Owl of scowl, so it's that. Owl of indifference, which is that, or the owl of approval, which is the sort of nodding and sometimes bopping. Yeah, I get cocky. So have you found? Oh, you got a joke for us, Rob? Did you get a little joke lined up?
Who, me? I can do you one.
Yeah,
Do you really want one of my jokes? I'll tell you what.
We've had a few of Tom O'Connor's, so yeah, it's maybe time to.
I'll give you a really bad one because we like my bad jokes. So I bumped into Adamant the other day, and he wasn't looking too happy. So I asked him what was wrong, and he said he was going to make liver and onion pie for him and his friends, as Adamant does. But his local butcher wasn't doing liver anymore. So I said to him, well, you know what? You need to go up to Stan's Butchers at the top of the road. And he said, well, is he any good? And I said, I'll put it this way. Stan does deliver. Will go lovely in your pies.
You're right about those long ones, just aren't worth it.
Wow. I can't
Really
believe we're going to make the show 3 hours for that.
Stand and deliver your money or your pie. Well, do you want what about a short one? Let's just compare. Why did they throw the egg over the wall? Because it was a Chucky egg. Cool, that's a bit that dates it back to the 80s a bit, doesn't it? Yeah, both bad jokes.
I finally got my dog to stop peeing in the backseat of my car. That's the good news. Yeah,
What's
put him in the front seat.
Bad news.
Just put him in the front seat.
Okay, that one was actually kind of funny. That was a little bit worth it. So we got Long Beach, California, USA. I'm gonna assume. Oh, the money. Okay, it kind of like makes sense now. Yep, it's gonna be one of those Purple Bowl of Destinies. Hopefully, this is good. I was debating on if this is D-money or the money, but I am the money is the at hashtag. So 92 followers, 564 plays with 5 tracks. Not really bad stats, but it's Kanye West, Post Malone, Kid Cudi, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Nicki Minaj, SCA, J. Cole, Travis Scott, ASAP Rocky, listed as the influences. we had to go one down because the song that was done before this one was only 25 seconds long, so I could only assume failed upload attempt or just maybe a beat for sale, and somebody still left a real strong comment on it. Slaps is really going downhill these days, but this is going to be the money with a song called Come to Me, second single off my newest EP. Let's check it out.
I'm the baddest thing, she the baddest thing. Throw your wedding ring, so you can bling like me. Make your body sing, make your body cream. Shopping sprees, the whole thing. Show me, hold me. I love the way you control me. You never late, you always there. You always care, you're my honey bear. Yeah, yeah, come to me. Yeah, yeah, come to me. My honey love, my baby dove. You're only one I'm thinking of. Yeah, yeah, come to me. Yeah.
And for that song, we have the Owl of...
What are you going to be? Dun, dun, dun. Slight indifference and slight approval, interestingly enough. I think we'll probably both be on the same page on this one, the Owl and myself, of... Right, so I'm in two minds because it was quite a cool vibe. And I like the vibra slap thing, you know, so that's good. Always have always like a good vibra slap. So nothing really much. Sorry. Just like you like a good fiddle, Tom, I like a good vibra slap, and it never hurts. And nothing much actually sort of happened in the song. It kind of just rolled along. Nothing offensive in there either, just nothing to speak of. But it had a sort of late night sort of, you know, chilling out vibe to it, really. So yeah, it's not one I'd play, not one I'd probably buy, but you know, there's definitely a market for people who like to have that sort of, you know, chill out music on, and it was a bit of a chill out track. Not too bad. I mean, it's nothing special as far as I was concerned. But
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought up the point of the chill out track. So, Smart Monkey, what do you think?
Very similar, really. I thought the underlying sort of instruments through the track were fine. It was quite pleasant, quite a good, quite promising track in a certain way. But for me, the vocals were doing nothing. They were just too monotonous, and they just didn't suit the track. It could have been so much more. And so, no offense, but I would just get someone else to do something vocally over the top. The rest of it, the rest of the instrumentation to it, the way it sort of developed, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, just a little bit too monotonous for me, I'm afraid.
I think I'm gonna have to go on a mission here and find some really good hip hop. Really MC did a really good job. We were talking about it before with Kinners too and everything like that. Even though we couldn't understand it, it's like the music brings you into another dimension, even though you don't understand the lyrics. Here, we can understand the lyrics, and it really doesn't do anything for it. So to Carl's point, when he was making the point about the track, right, which is if you tone down the bass, right, then you could really make this into probably a really groovy kind of like lo-fi kind of like study track, and it probably would have worked better as that rather than kind of like, let's say like a kind of like hardcore kind of like a R&B soul or a hip hop kind of song. So that would be my thing. And Rob, to your point is, yes, I agree with you too, because some people work as singers, some people work as producers, some people work as sound engineers. Everybody has their role, and so I'll say this much: is if this track is all produced by the same person, the money, then I will tell you this much: is that you are better off suited at just making beats and being the audio engineer and audio producer, because the beat was very catchy, but the lyrics really threw everything kind of like off time and off key and everything, right? So no offense to you, it's just once again, people have different parts to play in different things, right? So I mean, Metallica has been going strong for years upon years upon years upon years upon years, yet they still use the same producer to produce their albums and everything like that, because Bob Rock, for crying out loud, like, he knows what he's doing. So Beastie Boys went with Rick Rubin, and Rick Rubin is one of the most prominent guys out there. He also produced Jay-Z and a lot of like top-notch acts that are out there. So sometimes you really just have to say to yourself that, what, singing isn't my forte. For example, if you are trying to be a singer and maybe I'm just better behind the booth, you're still going to get recognition. You may not get the stardom, right? But you'll still get the recognition. You'll still make plenty of money from it. And so if that is your kind of like whole thing right there, the entire track, the way that is put together and everything, then I would definitely say that you're probably better behind the booth than in front of it. So that would just be my 2 cents. And, again, I could be wrong. Who the fuck am I? You know what I mean? So I'm just one of 3 hosts here, 4 at the moment here with the Al.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Al doesn't say much though, but doesn't have to. Just gives a look. But I think Al's been practicing a bit of ventriloquism, so we're going to try that next week. I think, where the Al is going to speak through me. So we'll give that a go next week, shall we?
Does that mean the Owl's going to put its...
Well, no, I don't think so. No,
put that wing right up there.
No way, it says no. I said no way.
I'm hoping you have some of that hand cream left, man.
Wow. Yes. I don't think Al
his head did a 360 right there. Oh my goodness.
He did a 360. It can do that as well, yeah. So, and you'll notice, by the way, so for any doubters out there that were saying, this is just Carl sticking his right hand up an Al, it's not true. Right hand's here. and left hands here as well. And the owl continues to move around clearly.
That just begs the question: what is up there?
Well, yeah, what's up here now? Oh my goodness me! Wow.
Okay, because here's going to be the troubling part: is if you actually throw both hands up and the owl's still moving.
Well, I can try. It's just not moving though, is it? Oh, it is. It is.
Well,
So,
now we know. Now we know. So, so how does Susie feel about all this?
well, she's still with me after 7 years, so she must be. I must be doing something right.
She must be okay with it. All right. Boy.
Take a night to the Punx, Gracie. There we go.
I'm just thinking as we go from show to show, it's just going to be more and more difficult to promote these things. We're probably just better off promoting the website at this point, for crying out loud. Speaking of websites, please visit us at usundergroundsound.com, where you can find most of the antics here. Once again, when things kind of like settle down, it's going to take about another 2 months. 2 months, things will be kind of like settled. The radio station will make its appearance. I'll have more time to work on everything here. The fellows are doing their part, but you know, it's just a matter of me getting to a very comfortable position here, and I'm really waiting for the re-release of the radio station. Excuse me. I think that the re-release of the I'm thinking that the re-release of the radio station is one of those things that's going to give the underground sound a nice boost forward. Maybe even in the owl community, but no, but keep tabs with us, please. Usundergroundsound.com, just in case anything ever happens on YouTube, whatever the case. What were you doing?
I don't know.
I thought you were like, tell me, don't mention YouTube. Don't mention YouTube. Like, what the hell were you doing?
I was just doing my itchy chin thing again. And I just thought.
Okay, it seemed like your hand was like gone. Okay, so
You were doing that earlier, weren't you?
what we were doing.
But that was, I don't know if that was a thing in America, Rob, Tom, at all.
Oh, yeah.
But we used to have, well, they now say itchy beard a lot. If you're not, if you suspect somebody's lying or something, go itchy beard. But years ago, they used to say itchy chin as well. Oh, and chinny.
Chin on.
Yeah, so.
Was it chin on?
Itchy beard.
Chin on.
Chin on.
Chin on.
Yeah, that was another one. Chin on. You meant you're lying, I think.
Chin on. I never heard that one. Chinny, itchy chin, itchy beard. I heard all those.
Well, we're always feeling that's pretty suspicious.
Yeah.
Chin on.
That's kind of like the way our detectives.
Isn't this an Italian thing?
This.
Is this like a kind of swear thing? Isn't it?
It's kind of like it's kind of like ready. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of something like that. Yeah.
And that's what I was getting.
Nice.
Just like while we're so battling.
Chin on is not dissimilar to Shamon, is it? The Michael Jackson. Chin on.
You're one of those prettiest dance moves there, isn't it?
Oh goodness. Oh boy.
It is that you've been called in the playgrounds like that.
It is the witching
moonwalking. Doing a moonwalk.
That was good. That was
He's
good.
trying moonwalking on concrete playground.
I would just, I'd pay money to see Carl do a moonwalk.
Do you know, I'm actually not bad at on a smooth floor. I'm all right at moonwalking. I actually did try and learn it, so I didn't do too badly. So I can actually reasonably moonwalk. Is that no? I can moonwalk reasonably well. Possible, it's possible. And all the robotics as well. I do the robotics.
Well, we'll see. We'll see it soon enough. I'm still planning my trip to the UK in July. So the fellas and I here will have our cigar episode. Eventually, we will. Once again, still planning that trip, but who knows? Things get delayed.
And we could get to do our in-betweeners dancing thing, where they sort of do the awkward dancing.
And you did the robot then.
Yeah, did the robot, yeah. We could do all that, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the in-between clip?
But no. Listen, between the in-betweeners and the cigar episode and like I'm trying to write things out, I'm starting to put ideas on paper so that way when I'm actually there and we have like time, we can like record a couple of skits. So we're gonna have to move through that.
Yeah, because we're very good at doing scripted skits, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, there's the thing. I have no idea what you mean by that comment, first of all. Second of all, when we're actually hanging out and if we're trying to do a script, then it might actually be a little bit more cohesive, it might actually work further. However, the cheesy acting is always a plus, because you got to ham it up somehow, right? So moving on to the to the underground sound here, we have oh my god, Paul Kimble.
Paul Kimble, Vanish. We don't know where Paul's from, according to Slaps, but we could probably look it up on the interweb somewhere. It just says he's alternative rock singer-songwriter. There's some of the groups he belongs to, and rock. This one is alternative rock. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong track. Alternative rock and singer-songwriter and it's called Vanish. All I can tell you is some of the comments on Slaps are killed it. Amazing with an S, not a Z. Amazing. Again and again. Fiery. And, oh yeah, this is it. So, but I thought actually this is a really, 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 really good track for my liking, for my tastes. So I just hope you two enjoy it and the audience enjoys it as much as I did.
Paul Kimble from my detective work is from Paris, France.
Oh, is he really? Wow.
That's all that I have so far because we have joined January 9th, 2023. 4.44 click-through comment to track ratio. I always look at click-through because I'm thinking of the zero favorite tracks, so forth. But it looks kind of like so this is probably the best artwork that we've seen tonight, honestly. I gotta think, right? So
I think a lot of his artwork's pretty good as well, actually. When you look through it, it's all a female focused thing, but it's kind of all good artwork kind of thing, and it's all interesting artwork.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
So we got this song. It's 3 minutes 48 seconds. Song was posted 17 days ago. 146 plays, 5 saves, 239 fire, with 38 comments backing that. Listed as alternative rock as the main genre here, I should say. Also available on Spotify. The immediate link that I see here. So this is Paul Kimble with Vanish. Let's check it out.
I could just vanish, then time wouldn't push me around. Calm and collected, my feet planted firm in the ground. Lost in the dream we once had. How did it all get so bad? I sit in silence, just thinking with nothing to say. Stare out the window, a blank look for each passing day. joy I once had. How did it all get so bad?
All right, Paul Kimble with Vanish right there. Eeny, meeny, miny, smart monkey.
Yeah, okay. So I was finding it quite difficult to pin down what I could compare it to, and then it struck me as probably the most similar artist, but probably not voice-wise, was Radiohead. And yet, if you could have heard like Tom York singing that, then to me that would have been very similar. But it's not a Tom York style vocal. Then the instrumentation as well almost reminded me of The Cure. Again, the vocals not, but the instrumentation of it sounded almost like The Cure. So it was a really difficult one to pin down, but it has this very sort of slow-moving, melancholy vibe to it. Just plows its way along, and his vocals are very sort of low, and they kind of fit with that. Nice production on it. But yeah, really difficult for me to compare it to anything. I didn't dislike it. It's quite chilled. But yeah, hard one for me to actually put anywhere really.
I have a couple in mind. Carlos Fandango. I almost forgot your name for crying out loud.
Okay, so the guitar, I think, is using drop D tuning, which always gives them a different kind of song. So you get the deepness of that dropped D, lowest, the bass string on the guitar, but the recording of that guitar and the sound of the guitar and the other instruments, but the guitar and the acoustic guitar has such lovely depth to it. Same with the vocals, and then that big snare and splash of the drums drop in, and it's just brilliant. The sound of the drums is awesome. The snare sound is gorgeous, and it just gives it such a dreamy, drifty quality. But the main focus, I think, is on the words, the lyrics, and the voice. The whole thing is sort of dreamy and ethereal, but I think vocally, yeah, there's a bit of Bert Jansch in there with the guitar and the vocals. I was trying to think. I think it's Richard Hawley, maybe, who sounds a bit like this, possibly. But also the actual song itself felt dreamy enough to be a moody blues kind of song from one of their mid-70s, early 70s albums. It's got that dreamy quality to it. So I could imagine, again, not like the vocal sounds like that right now, but I could imagine Justin Hayward singing to this track and it would sound magical. So as this does, I love this track. I really don't think there's anything wrong with it. From my perspective, it's just such a lovely, dreamy track. It's one of those that takes you to another place if you're in that mood.
Yes, indeed it is. So the first thing that I thought about is, like, if Pearl Jam had a ballad, then this would kind of be it. But Have you, Carl? Because I know I've mentioned it to you plenty of times throughout the show. Have you ever checked out "Silent Lucidity" by Queensryche?
I still haven't. You have mentioned it before, and I haven't.
Yes. So listen to "Silent Lucidity" by Queensryche and possibly "Shine" from Collective Soul, and I think that that's where we're going with this artist here. It was cool. Top-notch production. Paul Kimble, Vanish. Top-notch production. The vocals really stand out, but they're also blended into the mix so well where you have that again. If you listen to "Silent Lucidity," you'll get what I'm talking about. You really will. So listen to it, check it out. It's not going to take too much of your time. We could even listen to it, once we're done with the show here. But yeah, it definitely gives off that 90s vibe, kind of like ballad rock of bands of that nature and everything like that, right? So I mean, not much to say here. The vocals are strong, the music is strong, the production is strong. The I think that he has everything going on for him here, and maybe that's why he doesn't have like such a social media presence, because he may be busy, writing other stuff, maybe like getting everything together, right? Because I honestly think that was probably one of the better songs of the evening. I liked it. I have two so far, and this is probably going to be my third. We still have yet to listen to song number 10 here of the evening, but wow, like I feel like that really brought me back to my teenage years. You know what I mean? And like I'm listening to it, and it's just so nicely done. It's just everything about it. Again, the lyrics, the music, the guitar stands out, the drums stand out. The automation is just near perfection. I think that very, very, very strong song. Maybe even a runner song for the best of the 23s.
I think you'll probably enjoy checking out some of his other stuff. One of the tracks is called Elodie's Way, and I'll be featuring that as a Fandango fave soon, because it could have come into this show. I think they're equally good. This one probably had the edge, but if you check out his other stuff, it's definitely got that sort of poetic dreaminess to it. It's wonderful, really good stuff.
Cool, man. So, Smart Monkey, what did you think?
Yeah, I liked it, but I didn't probably rave to it as much as you guys did. And I don't know, I would have preferred if it had a Tom York vocal over the top. I'll end it there. I'm not going to make any friends in tonight.
Oh goodness, good show so far, folks. Episode 28 has been a mixed bag of emotions, to say the least.
Yeah.
So episode 27 was super fun. Episode 26 was super fun. This one's just kind of like been all over the place, hasn't it? Oh boy, but it is what it is.
That's what makes it interesting.
Exactly. We are the underground sound, and you take us or leave us, for crying out loud. But by all means, whether you take us or leave us, then visit the video description below and find all these. This looks like the second or third time I've hit that microphone today. This is definitely in the wrong position. All right.
More of your kit getting abused.
It's just, it's really hard to set up this pop blocker once you move it. There we go. So yeah, by all means, please visit the video description below, because other than us reviewing the artists here, they have nothing to do with us. So check out their music, show them some love. If you want to show us some love, leave some comments below. We love to hear feedback from you. So leave some comments below. Shoot us a like, shoot us a dislike. If you dislike us, just please tell us why, and that way we can get some creative criticism from your end of the screen here, as it were. But yeah, we definitely love the show. We love everything that we do, and we just love hanging out and having a couple of beers and being guys talking, friends and guys talking with one another here. So moving on, unfortunately, to our last song of the evening. Ah, boy. And I know that you guys are pretty happy about this, because it's coming up on 1 o'clock in the morning soon on your side of the pond.
So it is. I didn't realize it was getting so late.
Yeah. Well, we had we had a bit of an interesting afternoon, and then it moved into a longer break for different reasons. Shush. So now we are at Blackwood with Inundated One. What can you tell me about the song, Carl?
Okay, so Blackwood. So the artist Blackwood is a band. The drummer of the band, who runs the Slaps account, is David Dix from Nashville, Tennessee, USA. He's the owner operator of Red Feather Recording and the drummer for the band Blackwood. Influences include Foo Fighters, Audio Slave, Chickenfoot, Alice in Chains, Velvet Revolver, Chris Cornell, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Pearl Jam. So that's the kind of place we're coming from here. It's a roistering, rip-roaring, something else beginning with the R, end to the show. And this one's called Inundated One.
Well, let's do this. Blackwood with Inundated One. Let's check it out. That was, of course, I messed that up.
The speakers, yeah.
I knew I was going to miss something. That's all right. Yeah, so that was Inundated One by Blackwood. Your thoughts, Mr. Monkey? I know it's not your type of music, but
well, yeah, typically it isn't. But actually, that I really enjoyed that. So yeah, it's a solid piece of heavy metal rock, really, for me. It just grabs you right at the start, to be fair. And I know that he says his influences are like Pearl Jam, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Alice in Chains, and some of those sort of more, I won't say modern bands, but sort of 90s, noughties bands. But to me, this particular track, I don't know about the other tracks he's got, but this particular track actually reminded me of more of the 80s rock. And your AC/DCs, your Iron Maidens, and it alluded more to that kind of vocals and style than the other ones in his influences. Loving the screams at the 2-minute mark, where it's I just loved it. Just great. And it sounded like a really solid production as well. That just did all of those sounds, the polish they deserve for that kind of track. You know, everything sat where it needed to, in my mind, anyway. Yeah, I thought, you know, like you say, I'm not normally a fan of this music, but I really enjoyed that one.
And Mr. Fandango, who put some fire on the song after I did.
Yeah, how much did I add? I can't remember.
You added 1.
No, 9.
Okay, well,
Fiery.
I fixed it.
You fixed it already. Oh, I'll fix that at some point, I'm sure. I've
Sure.
so yeah, it catches your ear from the start. I concur with a lot of what Rob said there, which was yeah, it does have that sort of well, again, yeah, they've got their sort of 90s influences and noughties influences, but I'm thinking it kind of grabs you in the same way that Ocean Colour Scene's Riverboat song did with riff. So with that dun 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 dun, so it catches you. So this one was like that, but also then they had the harmony guitar coming in as well, which is really quite cool. Which then alludes, then you're in the sort of territory of Thin Lizzy with the harmony guitars. Nice. The vocals come in with a very Robert Plant-like ooh kind of thing, gravelly ooh, and then it's funny because I was getting vibes of Deep Purple and Black Sabbath. You know, I think their roots go back a lot further than the 90s and the 80s, and it's got a sort of big retro feel about this one. But good lyrics. You know, it's solid composition, production, writing, playing. It's all on point. It's all good. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong or out of step with it. And I got carried away listening to it so much so that I sort of had forgotten until about halfway through to take some notes. Now, it's whether it's one that I would actually sort of listen to consistently, I don't know, but I know a lot of people would love that song. Metalheads and rockheads would really like it.
Yeah. No, so to your point, it reminded me, do you remember Guitar Hero?
Mm-hmm.
Was
Okay.
Yeah, PS2, PS3.
Yep.
I think they finally did away with it. I've been struggling for so long to actually find a Guitar Hero guitar, one that actually works for the PS3 and everything like that, because either the guitar doesn't work or the dongle doesn't work, or you know, there's some kind of like, you know, something wrong with it, right? But I absolutely love that game, Guitar Hero, because here's 2 reasons why I absolutely loved it. You got to feel like you were playing along with the band, and you were always listening to music that you fucking liked anyway. You know what I mean? So to your point of this Black Sabbath thing, right? As I was thinking, like, this really sounds like kind of like Ozzy Osbourne's Zakk Wylde, right? Zakk Wylde did a lot of guitar work and everything like that. So, so it really like brought me into there. But then I was also thinking of like, this definitely has that 90s feel to it, where you could definitely feel a little bit of Soundgarden in here, and not so much Alice in Chains, because I don't think Alice in Chains ever really went with anything like this heavy. But I mean, Soundgarden for sure. You know what I mean? At least that much. So it was an overall really, really nicely done song, and the vocal effects that were put on this definitely do remind me of that Zakk Wylde kind of Black Sabbath effect to it. And so you said David he's just a drummer?
He's the drummer, and looks like he's owner operator of Red Feather Recording, so he's probably the producer as well.
He's producer. Okay, so he's like a proper producer and a proper sound engineer probably also, which is probably why this song gets the kick that it actually does. I think it was good through and through. Professional production. The vocals were nice and solid for a metal song. You know, the instruments were very clear, and they were cleaned up, and they were kind of like you know, incorporated nicely. Especially the drums, and you know, with the drums, a lot of people need to realize is drums are very complicated, because you know, you have toms, you have deep toms, you have hi-hats, you have cymbals, you have, you know, so there's microphones all over the place. So, you know, a singer only needs one microphone, whereas a drum kit needs like 12 different microphones, right? So producing this kind of music and trying to get the sound absolutely just correct. And obviously you're adding, you know, elements here and there and everything like that. But the whole thing is to actually get it right and get it to sound good is just where a pro producer comes in. And I think that David is doing a great job at being, you know, a producer, if he is in fact producing this kind of stuff. So once again, folks, this is one of the examples of having a proper sound engineer working on your stuff. So we've talked about it a few times throughout the episode today, and it's just I'm gonna stick by it. If you have a proper sound engineer, your music will nearly always sound like gold, unless you just make, you know, complete rubbish, as it were.
Fair enough. Can't say fairer than that. So, which ones would be your top three? I found this a bit difficult. Not so much. No, I found it quite difficult, actually, full stop. But there's four, and I'm struggling to keep it to three.
Yeah.
But what about you guys? So any ideas yet?
Smart Monkey, how about you start us off with your top three, top four? What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I had four. So the one we just listened to with Blackwood, I really like that, and like I say, it's unusual for me to like that kind of music. But I thought, for all the reasons you guys just said, you know, it had, and funnily enough, you said Black Sabbath, and I thought it did sound like Black Sabbath back there, but I kind of thought it had a bit more of a sort of edge to the vocals than Black Sabbath, but maybe that's just because of the era. So I wanted to put that in my top three, and I'm going to be really controversial now, but my top three you're going to hate my top three. So, well, you're not, because number three, I think you'll be happy with, which is Roger Richards, and there used to be such a beautiful song, such an emotional song, and for me, you know, a country song. You know, I can take them and leave them, but this one was just so powerful, you know, really good. So that was my number three song. My number two, which, you know, you guys aren't going to like very much, was Lost in Space, and sqEpsilon, however we pronounce that. It just had something that I really liked about it. And it was unusual, it was different, and for those very reasons, it really appealed to me. So that's my number two. And then my number one, just because I just felt it was so beautifully produced and engineered, and the sound was really good, and I would put it on my summer playlist, was Low by Shahiem. It just oozed quality, and I know that arguably, possibly Bieberish, like you say. I didn't get quite Bieberish. I got more Bruno Mars than that. But yeah, that was my number one, and I know very, very commercially, but I liked it.
Wow.
I know, controversial.
I feel like I don't even know you anymore.
Controversial.
Carlos Fandango, what did you think? What are your top three, top four?
Okay,
top
so
10? You know,
if I was to say, so Blackwood was probably one of the best produced songs, and it was a really good rock song. But if I'm to go on ones that I would actually listen to again and again, I think I would probably put Degerwald. Although I think it could do with some polish, there's something really magical and dreamy about that
I
song.
knew you were going to say that too. I really did.
Controversial show, folks.
And my number two would be Paul Kimble, Vanish. It could be a number one, but it was so close. But my number one, I think, because of the reaction, is Roger Richards used to be. There's something about it, but I think, yeah, now I've seen the Degerwald lyrics, that's definitely my number three. But I think, yeah, Paul Kimble, Vanish is vying for the top spot for me, because I think that one I will listen to a lot, and there's something pretty special about that recording. But the Roger Richards one is just so much emotion in it, and to make three grown men sort of on the verge of tears is an exceptional talent, really. And I know the subject matter's difficult, but he's delivered it so well with such emotion that it carried and conveyed that message across to us to the point of near tears. So I can't fault that, and I think it was the strongest production and song of the night overall.
Yeah. You see that C next to Degerwald?
C
almost looks like copyright. So track 6, C.
Oh,
There, yeah, that's Carl. I just somehow I knew it.
It's called bingo. Bingo.
So for me, it's obviously with the storytelling. I like Punxta P. I'm not really sure which order to kind of like put them in with with a 3, 2, 1. I think that we're pretty much like on an even keel with the show as far as the quality of the music itself, right? So or the quality, I should say, of our tops. So Punxta P with Patterns, I think definitely yeah, Roger Richards with used to be just, again, to your point, to bring forth so much emotion to a song and to actually convey it through a third party source as well. Like we're just a couple of idiots, reviewing music here and everything like that. But I mean, all three of us were nearly in tears. We all had to take longer breaks. Then Carl had a little bit of a family crisis, and then it was just one of those things that's really it was a song that just really kept on giving. So I got to think that's definitely got to be one of the top ones. So now for my third, I'm really in kind of like a torn position between Blackwood and Vanish by Paul Kimble. Mainly for the fact that they're both produced very well. They're both nice rock tracks. They're both kind of like 90s vibey to me and everything like that. The only thing is, I think that Paul Kimble, again, reminds me of Collective Soul and Queensryche, whereas Blackwood is more on the heavy side of the track with Zakk Wylde and Black Sabbath and things of that nature. So I'm gonna have to call those two a tie, listen to those two a little bit more, and possibly choose one of those for the 23s, as it were. So I think that's where we're going with that.
excellent. That's good. So we all got well, I mean, it just goes to show it's stiff competition tonight. And but I think we could probably, if this this episode had a title because of that used to be track by Roger Richards, I think this would be a friend's title of the one with the group hug. I think
One with the group hug. I'll do that.
One with the group hug, yeah.
Okay. The group hug episode.
If you're able to edit this, I just really desperately need a wee. I mean, you can keep talking if you like in the show and just leave this in, and everybody will know I've gone for a wee.
Squeeze one.
Well, I've got to go, otherwise I'm going to wet myself on the show live.